Hey, mahal everyone. Welcome back again to the Broadway Sane YouTube channel. I'm your host 40 and we are back with another video on the Alchemist Code. In particular, we're going to be doing our second character spotlight, and this time we're going to be talking about the 5-star base unit Vettel. Now before I get into this video, I'm going to be leaving a link in the video description below to a post made by the member of the Alchemist Code global subreddit, Pinoy Slayer _. He created this Google Doc which contains a tier list and kind of like an overview of each of these characters. So a lot of the information that I'm going to be going over is actually in that doc. So Pinoy Slayer _, props to you and a big shout out to you for creating this. This is very helpful. Again, all of the information on this video can also be found on that post. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it there. Be sure to click on that if you have any further questions regarding any of these units that I cover. So, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and talk about Vettel. So, what can we say about Vettel? Well, we're going to go ahead and take a look at his backstory first, because we want to know how he pertains to the story. So, his origin is from Envilia. Okay, there's his height, his weight, his birthday, his blood type. His zodiac is Moon of the Flame King. His likes is walking through the streets, so seems like he's a very chill guy. His hobbies are collecting antique items. And it says right here, Vettel is the former captain of the Scarlet Flame Guard of Envilia. He injured his right eye during the war in a battle against Zahar. Okay, so seems like Zahar is his enemy, the captain of the Knights of Ratharis. He's brave and has a strong sense for justice. Thanks to his bright personality, he's popular among his subordinates and the citizens alike. Alright, so he seems to be very popular with the citizens of Envilia. And again, like just what we read, it looks like his rival is Zahar. And I don't know, you can't really see it right there, but on his eye he has kind of like a scar. It kind of reminds me of a little bit of like Kakashi from Naruto. I wonder if they're getting a little bit of their character personalities and designs from Naruto. I kind of find that interesting. But yeah, so that is Vettel. Again, he's the captain of the Scarlet Flame Guard of Envilia. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at his leader skill, which is Swordsman's Trance. So Swordsman's Trance, as long as you have Vettel as your leader, it raises slash attack by 30% for the whole party. So if you have a party built around the slash attacks, such as like having like a Zangetsu or the new unit, which is Balt on your team, and then if you have like another friend Vettel as your mercenary, you can really take advantage and really rack up the damage with your slash attacks. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and dive right into his job. So when you first pull for Vettel within the gacha, his initial job is Magic Swordsman. Now, Magic Swordsman, right out of the box, is a pretty useful class. It's pretty decent in damage. So what it focuses on, let's go ahead and take a look at the abilities. Magic Blade, which these particular skills here, what they do is they inflict damage and they also inflict some sort of a status ailment. So Magic Swordsman with this toolkit gives you a little bit of board control. The only issue with it is that until you get to the higher tiered ability skills, which is like Blasting Sword and Spark Sword, you're kind of limited on range because it's just literally just, you know, one range space in front of you because it's a melee attack essentially. But it's pretty good for board control if you're trying to, you know, control the turns of your enemy units and things like that. So that's what it's good for. Now, Basic Magic Blade is where I feel like this class really shines because it gives you flexibility as far as elemental attacks. So if you're up against like an opposing team that's full of, let's say, like water units, then Thunder Sword is your go-to. Or for example, if you're up against a bunch of like green units, then Fire Sword is your go-to. So pretty good. Again, the only limitation is that it's a one range move and one height, so you have to be within close melee range. Now, the reactive ability is Absorb Jewels, so you have a chance of absorbing jewels when you receive damage. Pretty useful, and it's pretty cool because when you take damage, as long as you survive, and when this triggers, you accumulate the jewels, so then that means when your turn comes up next, you have more of those jewels to be able to use your abilities. And then, let's go ahead and go to his passives. His passive is Divine Shelter for this class, which raises all elemental resistance. This is very useful, especially right now. Not a lot of characters, you know, can really sustain magic damage, and a lot of magic damage is also elemental. So this is a very, very useful passive ability. Just want to make sure I don't miss anything here. Let's see what this is. No, this is for his other class. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and move on to his Holy Cavalier class, which is by far the class that makes Vettel shine and the recommended job class. So let's take a look at Holy Cavalier. So what is Holy Cavalier? Well, his initial skill is Holy Sword, which either increases his defense, so he has guard stance. He has Lightbringer, which is likely going to be your main source of damage output. It's a ranged attack, which inflicts light damage, and it is in a 3x3 type of a range, so it can hit, essentially, it can hit up to, I believe, 5 units, if you're lucky. But generally, most of the time, you won't be hitting that many units with it. You'll be hitting maybe like 1 or 2, but it's good that it's ranged. He has Holy Knight's Prayer, which if you cast that, you'll survive fatal damage and stay alive on the verge of death. It's okay, but the thing is, I feel like it's situational because when Vettel turns into his Holy Cavalier class, he becomes an absolute monstrous tank. He deals an insane amount of damage, and he just overall, you know, shrugs off every single attack that comes his way. And then Lionheart is like his strongest attack. It inflicts physical light damage on units within a target area. It's in a 5x5 square cross. So this one is pretty powerful, but rarely you're going to be using, Lightbringer more over Lionheart. Lightbringer, generally, it will be your go-to move for Holy Sword abilities. And then for his basic Holy Sword, he has Shield Bash, Weapon Crush, Shield Crush. So essentially, he's lowering the enemy stats, whereas with Shield Bash, he inflicts stun. So a little bit of board control, not as good as the Magic Swordsman, but pretty decent. And then his reactive ability is Holy Knight Stance +2, chance of defending when receiving damage. By far, one of his best reactive skills, if not his best. This one, essentially, when it reacts, he'll say something when he takes the damage, and then usually the damage is like lowered by like a very, very minuscule amount. Like it'll do like 1 damage to him or 10 damage. So very, very good. Really complements his tankiness. And then his passive is Guardian. So it further raises his physical defense, which, as we all know, he specializes in being that monstrous tank. Okay, and now we will go over his last class, which is Samurai. So let's take a look at Samurai. So his first abilities are Blade. So he can raise his own physical attack and crit rate. Okay, and this one he can inflict physical damage. Steel Cutting Blade ignores defense, and then Steel Cutting Flash inflicts physical damage strong and ignores defense. So pretty cool. So it looks like this class for him is all focused on dealing an enormous amount of damage. And then he has Basic Blade, which it has Ogre Slayer, Saint Slayer, Armor Shredder, Spell Shredder, Quaking Blade, Starfall Blade. So this one, again, is very similar to his... You can use it to lower the stats, this particular stats of particular enemies while dealing damage. Again, somewhat okay. And then his passives for this one is Single Blade, raises physical attack but lowers evasion and agility. His reaction ability is Tsubami Gaeshi, which has a chance of performing physical counter when receiving damage. So he has a chance of performing a counter. It's not guaranteed. And then his other passive for Samurai is Enhanced Counter, which greatly raises physical and magic attack when performing a counter. Okay, so what do I think about the Samurai class? It's okay. However, I do think it is his most lackluster available job that is available to him. As we all know, Vettel, like, you know, he really shines as a tank. He really shines when you unlock his Holy Cavalier class. So the recommended setup for him would be Holy Sword, and then you want to give him Basic Magic Blade, so he has the elemental flexibility of being able to inflict, you know, various elemental damage. And keep in mind, this is magic damage. So again, a lot of units don't have good protection against magic damage right now, so this is a very useful skill. His recommended reactive ability would be Holy Knight Stance +2 to keep him alive a lot longer and to really show off how tanky he is. And then, just to add a little bit more to the tanky mixture, you want to give him Guardian and Divine Shelter. Give him that physical defense boost and give him that elemental resist to all elements. So that is the recommended setup for him. And then as far as gear goes for his Holy Knight class, right now I have the Charmed Sword, the Charming Blade on him, which is pretty good. It gives him some HP, gives him some crit. It has the chance to charm and increases his physical attack. Because I have a second gear slot available, I'll eventually, if I can get another one, give him the, I think it's the, what's it called? The Curious Doll, which is, to me, by far still one of the best gear out there because it gives elemental resist across all the different elements, and it increases the amount of jewels you obtain, and it gives you a luck bonus. So overall, what do I think of Vettel? Vettel really shines in PvP, and the reason why is he just absorbs damage so much. Literally, he can solo an entire arena party by himself, as long as he has maybe like a chronomancer like Rahu supporting him, where she just quickens his turn, so he's always acting, and he just shrugs off damage as it is. You know, he's a very good unit. If you roll for him, you've hit the jackpot. I believe right now with the current meta for global, he is one of the best characters to roll. Now, as far as PvE, don't get me wrong, it's just he's not as good as he is in PvP. Only reason why is he kind of lacks a little bit in mobility, so he doesn't move very far, and also he's not very fast, so his turn won't come up as often as some of the other characters. But then again, he's so tanky and he has so much survivability that it really doesn't matter. So then again, he's still a great unit if you want to use him for PvE. Alright, so that is going to be my video for our character spotlight for Vettel. I hope this video helps you guys out. Again, don't forget about that link that I'm leaving in the video description below for the tier list that was created by Pinoy Slayer _. Guys, don't forget, I have a Facebook group for this game, which I'm also going to be leaving that link, and along to the link to the subreddit. Again, I'm always stressing that the subreddit is super helpful, so if you guys have any questions, go to that subreddit. Everybody there is very nice, a very good community, and they're very knowledgeable. Again, thank you for watching my video. Don't forget to give it a like, subscribe if you're new for future Alchemist Code content. Once again, I am the Broadway Saiyan, 40, stay tuned for the next video, and mahal everyone.